Welcome. Thank you for joining today. My name is Melissa, and I'm here to lead you through yoga with props. We will practice together for 45 minutes today. So, just a reminder to listen to your body. If any stretches are not working for you, you can skip them, come on out, and modify. Things that we'll need for our practice today is you'll want to have a yoga mat, and a folding chair will be wonderful for the practice today. It'll be a wonderful tool to move us a little deeper into some stretches. If you'd like to use yoga blocks, those are always nice to have. So if you'd like to grab one or two of the yoga blocks, that'd be great. We will have our blanket. So the blanket is a nice support as well. And I would love to incorporate the loop band. So we'll have the resistance loop band, and we can weave that into our class today. So I really enjoy yoga with props. It's a wonderful yoga practice, and we use the supportive props to move us a little deeper into stretches, give us different stretches that we wouldn't be able to get without the props. And it's just a really nice tool to help with balancing, aligning the body, increasing flexibility, building strength, and the list goes on and on. So there's lots and lots of benefits to it. So as we start today, I'd love to start in a standing position. So we'll come out up to a mountain pose. We call this Tadasana. And we'll complete our centering and our beginning of class here. So just gaze down to your feet. Have your feet pointing straight so that it's very nice alignment in your knees. And as you press down into your feet, maybe add a tiny bend into your knees just to get nice and grounded here in the legs. Take a moment here to close your eyes and begin to work with the shoulders. So we'll begin to take our shoulders up to the ears. We'll create a nice large circle and relax your shoulders as you exhale. And take a full breath in, draw your shoulders up, back, and down. One more time, inhale and exhale. And then as you relax your shoulders down, taking that opportunity, letting those eyes soften. Simply feel the connection of your feet, grounding down into your mat. Press into the inside and the outside of each foot. So we have 4 full mounds on the bottom of each foot. So trying to get very grounded here through both of your feet. And then as you ground into your feet, invite a gentle bend into your knees, a slight tuck to your tailbone, and allow for your spine to lengthen. So try to lengthen the back of your neck and reach and stretch through the crown of the head. Take an opportunity here to connect to the rise and the fall of your breath, lengthening your in-breath and your out-breath. So as we work with our breath here, let's take some movements with our hands. So to begin, palms will face up. Take a deep breath into your stomach, your ribs, and your chest. And as you do this, allow for your hands to float up. Then palms will face down. Gently release from your chest, your ribs, and stomach. Palms float up, breathing into the stomach, the ribs, and the chest. And then releasing from the chest, ribs, and stomach. Breathing in deeply, we'll feel our hands float up with the breath. Breathing out, feel the hands float down with the breath. Hands come into the heart space, into prayer, into Anjali Mudra. Take a moment here to set an intention for your time on the mat. So that might be that you want to relax a bit. It might be that you are holding tension in a particular area and you want to release that. So there's really no right and there's no wrong intention. Taking a deep full breath in here, let's begin to take our hands up to the sky. For this one, fingers will interlock and press your palms up. So a nice deep full breath here to lengthen. Shift to the left and to the right. So we'll complete little wiggling here in the waist side to side. And as you release your hands off towards the left, feel that right hip pressing to the right. So just guiding you a little deeper into the side stretch. Let's come to stillness, hands to the right. Roll the right shoulder under, left shoulder open, heart is shining up to the sky. Coming back to center, nice full breath here to lengthen. Take your hands to the other side. And really reaching and stretching through the waist. So we're going to lengthen through the side body, through the arm, and through the fingertips. Let's bring ourselves back onto the center, realigning here, and hands can come to the heart as you exhale. Let's take a moment to grab onto our chair. And for this one, what we'll do is we're going to flip the seat so that it's facing away from us. So we'll want to be able to access the top of our chair here. As you hold onto your chair, let's take a big step back with our right foot. And this will bring us into a variation of crescent, and it's also referred to as a high lunge pose. Now holding here if you wanted, and if you'd like to work the legs a little bit more, we're going to take some pulses down. So you may want to do a tap down with our knee, and then you'll reset back on up to that high lunge. Float yourself down, rise on up. Let's go 5 more times here with the breath. Good. Let's come back on through to that crescent. We'll take our right foot to meet our left. And then as you ground into your right foot, left foot comes back. Try to really activate that back leg. So press firmly through the heel and the back of the knee. Let's pulse that knee down. We'll take it 7 times total. Back on through to high lunge. Let's take our left foot to our right. And to release this one, we're just going to flip that chair around so that we can access our seat. Stepping away, maybe just a tad so that there's a little space between you and the chair. Hands to the sky. Let's breathe in here and come on down to a full then exhale. Bring your hands right onto the top of your chair and begin to press your chair away from you. So you want those front legs of the chair to lift off of the mat. Try to bring your weight back into your heels. We want to feel that our toes are a little light here. Almost a feeling like those toes could lift from the ground. And really try to lengthen the backs of your legs. So sitting bones reach and stretch to the sky with the breath. Letting your chair come down onto the mat, hands can float onto the seat. Shake out the legs here in your forward fold. So bend one knee and bend the other knee. Let your head relax, yes. Let your head relax now. Coming into stillness, maybe a deep bend in the knees. Let's lower the stomach down, lift up through the heart. We're going to work with some spinal movements. Tailbone lowers, crown of head lowers. Flow through cat and dog stretch for a moment. Lengthen your spine on the inhale. Lengthen your spine on the exhale. As you inhale, let your shoulders relax from the ears. So create a little space between the ears and the shoulders. Feel the shoulder blades moving down your back. And then on the exhale, really rounding your back body. So imagine creating space between the shoulder blades. Let's bring ourselves into a neutral spine here. Bring a nice deep bend into your right knee. Right hand can come up onto your chair and begin to press the chair away from you and take your left hand to the sky. So we're going to float ourselves into this really wonderful open twist. Try to feel your shoulders stacking and opening with your breath. Breathe in and out. Now let's try a closed twist. So we'll keep our legs exactly how they are. Nice deep bend in that right knee. Try to have the right heel grounded down if you can. We'll take our right hand open when you're ready. So this might feel a little bit more challenging. Closed twists are a little trickier than those open twists, but not impossible. So definitely try to use your breath here. Roll that right shoulder back a little bit more. Left shoulder under slightly. Let's give ourselves an opportunity to reset. So both of the hands onto the top of the chair. Switch up those legs. So a nice deep bend in your left knee. Left hand plants, right hand opens. Open twist on the other side. Maybe check in. Notice how the flexibility in your body is. Maybe twists are a little easier here than that first side. Noticing your body's natural movement patterns. Legs stay exactly how they are. Right hand plants, left hand opens up when you are ready. Now in time, imagine that you could stack and open the shoulders. So we want to feel our shoulders in line, wrists in line. One long line, fingertips to fingertips. Let's float ourselves back on through to center. We're going to take it down into our forward fold. Take up those legs here, bend one knee and the other, and relax your head, yes, and relax your head now. As you come into stillness here, let's try some poses down on the knees, and for this one, we're going to use our chair. So if you would like to grab a blanket to pad your knees, you can do that. So we're going to stand up on the knees and we'll have our chair to the right. And we'll be working with a pose called Deep Gate Pose Parigasana. So if your chair doesn't have a bar here, if it's pretty open, what you'll do is you'll thread your leg under there, but my chair has a bar there. So what I'm going to do is just kick my leg out right in front. And then you can kind of scoot that chair in a little bit. So from here, let's start by taking our right hand onto the top of the chair. And begin to press your chair away from you. So you're going to feel those front legs of the chair lifting up. And then we're going to work this really nice rotation in the shoulder. So try to roll that right shoulder under, left shoulder open. Breathing in and breathing out here. And we're going to come back on up to center. We can realign here. Let's take our left hand on our left hip, right arm up and over, full breath. We have all of these little intercostal muscles in between the ribs. So just giving them a wonderful stretch with each breath. Now let's come on down. If it feels accessible, right arm is going to float down right onto the seat. We'll take our left arm up and over. We'll try a little different variation here. Coming back on up to center. Let's realign here. We'll give ourselves a nice deep full breath in and out. Walking the hands out in front. This is a variation of a puppy stretch. So we'll have one leg straight, one leg bent. And then trying to reach your hands out in front of you as much as you can. And then try to bring your weight back into your left knee. Feel your hips reach and stretch up to the sky. And release. So we'll begin to float ourselves back on up to neutral. Let's take our right knee to meet our left knee. And then let's keep our chair where it's at. And we're going to just see if we can change up the stretch a little bit. So we'll start our left leg off to the left. We'll take our right hand onto the chair and let's press that chair away, giving yourself that wonderful side stretch. And really connect with your breath here. Try to breathe in and breathe out through your nose as best as you can. Coming up to center, let's try left hand to left hip, right arm up and over, side stretch. And back to center. Let's lower the forearm down onto the chair. Breathe in and out. We're gonna float it up and over here. So this one's a little bit like a variation of a side plank. So anytime you work with side plank in yoga, you could always modify and bring your bottom leg down for a little less stretch. And we're gonna float ourselves on up. Let's try that variation of the puppy stretch with one leg straight and one leg bent. So hands are going to float out in front and really try to send those hips right on up to the sky. So puppy's pose is a little different from child's pose. In child's pose, a lot of times we try to rest our hips onto our heels, or we just try to lower those hips down. In this one, we really try to aim to stretch those sitting bones right on up to the sky. So the butt might be up in the air a little bit, and that's how the pose will be. And release. So let's float ourselves up into neutral. We can take our left knee to meet our right knee. Core engages to rise onto our knees for a knee down mountain. And let's just pick that chair up. We're going to sweep it off to the other side. Have your seat turned in towards you. And then as we start on this one, let's kick that left foot to the left. So again, you can thread the foot into the chair if that is accessible for the chair that you're working with. And if you have a bar there like I do, you're just going to sweep the leg out in front of you. We'll take our left hand to the chair. Now let's begin to press the chair away. And really reach and stretch to the side. So one of my favorite things about this class is these stretches where we're pressing our chair away, because it's almost like we're moving in opposite directions. So in this stretch, I feel my hips pressing to the right, but then I also feel my hands reaching to the left. And honestly, it just gives me such a wonderful stretch, and a stretch that I can't get unless I'm doing this with a chair. So I really love this variation. We will float ourselves on up. Let's try out our right hand onto our right hip, left arm up and over. Little counter stretch here. Try to keep that spine nice and even, open and flexible on both sides. And we're going to take ourselves back on through to center. Let's take that left arm down, right arm up and over. So you're just floating right down into the elbow and just getting into a little bit more into the waist, so down by the hip a little bit more. Let's come on up. Core engages. Walk your hands out in front. We'll try that variation of our puppy stretch. Hands come out in front, hips reach up and back. Maybe relax your head and relax your neck. And release. So let's walk ourselves back on up. Left knee to your right knee. And then keeping your chair right where it's at, let's kick out the right foot to the right. So we'll try that gate pose parigasana on the other side. Hand comes right up onto the top of your chair. Begin to press the chair away. Feel yourself, breathe in and breathe out. Maybe play with the gaze. You could gaze down towards the ground. You could take your gaze up towards the sky. Coming up to neutral, right hand, right hip, left arm up and over, side stretch here. Back on through to center, left arm lowers. We'll just gently drop that forearm down, elbow down. Right hand up and over. Give yourself that nice deep full breath in and nice deep full breath out here. And coming on up to center, let's realign. Nice full breath here to lengthen, and we'll work on our puppy stretch. Hands float out in front. Let's take our hips right on up to the sky and stretch it out here. And release. Let's put ourselves back on up to center. You can stand up on the knees for that knee down mountain. And let's bring it on up to standing pose. As we come in up to stand, give it a little shake on out, shake out the legs, shake out the feet of any tension. So next pose, we're gonna work with our lizard pose, and it's also called gecko. And I really love using the chair because it's just such a nice prop and support. This is a fantastic hip opener, really good leg stretch. So I love coming into this pose, but honestly, it's not the easiest. I definitely feel a lot of stretching. So just know that, if you feel a lot of stretching, a lot of sensation, that's totally normal. But if you ever feel pain in the knees, that's your body's way of letting you know to come out of your hip stretches. But anything, intense stretching in the legs and the hips, that's pretty normal and pretty natural. So we're going to square ourselves up to our chair, and then right foot will take a step to the right side of your chair. Hands can come down onto the seat, and left foot takes a big hop back. This is almost like a variation of runner's lunge, where you're going to have your right foot on the right side of your chair. Now, one option is to stay here. So if you wanted to, you could kind of drop down into the forearms, hang out here. And some people say it's more challenging this way. Some people say it's easier. So it just kind of depends. It's going to give you a different stretch. If you wanted to, you could bring your knee down onto the ground, and you'll just kind of let yourself soften and melt here. So everyone's body is so different, and we all experience each pose very differently. So personally, for me, when I bring my back knee down, I get much more of a hip flexor and psoas. So those are all those little muscles and ligaments and things that are right in the front of the hip. And I also get a really good quad stretch. And I also experience a deep hip stretch, leg stretch, and low back. So really good one. And then of course, that knee can always be up off the ground, especially if your knees are sensitive. You could always try that option as well. One thing that's really important to keep in mind is to have your right knee and your right ankle in the same line. So we just don't want our knee to extend past the ankle too much. Try to feel that nice alignment of knee and ankle stacking. And if the knee is coming too far forward, just try to bring a bit more distance between your front foot and your back foot. And I know that this can bring up a lot of stretching. So if you feel like you're clenching with the hands, just try to find a little softness here if that is possible. Let's begin to come out of this one. So to come on out, we can do a little release into that runner's lunge. Left foot takes a big hop to the upper left edge of the mat. So stepping right outside the chair. Right foot can take a big step back. And here is where you can decide if you want to hang out in that lunge pose. Maybe work that hip flexor and psoas stretch a little bit and drop your hips down a little bit more. And maybe just close the eyes here for a moment or two. Try to relax the eyebrows and relax the jaw. Try to relax the back of the head and the back of the neck. Relax the shoulders, the arms, the hands. Relax the upper, mid, and low back. And relax your legs. And relax through your feet. Let's begin to release this one. So you can pop right up, finding that runner's lunge. Let's hop our right foot forward. We'll take our feet in line with each other. Shake out the legs a little bit here, bending the knees. Maybe relax your head, yes and no. Give yourself a half lift here. Lower your stomach, lift up your heart space. Ground into your feet and bring it on up to standing mountain pose Tadasana. Let's try a back bend, and we'll use our chair for this one. So what you'll do is you'll just come to the other side of your chair. You'll want to make sure that your chair is connected to the mat in all four spots so that it feels very secure. Hands can be on your chair, and we're going to encourage a back bend here. Now, if you wanted to make this back bend more intense, feel free to walk your feet away from the chair a little bit more. Feel your hips pressing forward and try to create this back bend through the three parts of the back. So we have our three parts of our back: low back, mid back, and upper back. And we really want to create that flexibility through the three parts of the back. We don't want to be really flexible in our low back and then immobile in the other parts. So this one is really good for getting that full spine stretch. And we are going to come out, but we'll come out nice and slow. So maybe give a little support to your low back. Let your tailbone tuck here. Try to lengthen your low back. Give yourself an inhale and an exhale. And let's try a camel pose. So for camel, we'll use our chair as well. So for this one, if you'd like to pad your knees, you can do that. And we're going to come right down onto our knees for this one. Your back will be facing the back of the chair. And if it feels okay and it works for you, you can kind of thread your feet underneath the chair. Now, camel will be similar to that standing back bend, but a little different. So one option would be to grab onto your chair, begin to press your hips forward, and create a back bend. Now, if you wanted this to be more challenging, you could grab onto the sides of your chair and then maybe let yourself glide down. So you could reach down that chair a little bit further. Feel your hips pressing forward. So we want to create this really nice back bend through the three parts of our back. Imagine if you could see yourself from the side, create this line from your knees to your hips, and then find that back bend from your hips up. Try to open the chest and the heart. It's always so important to do our back bends. A lot of times our modern life has us rounding forward quite a bit. So this one will be good for opening at the chest and the heart and broadening through the collarbones. Let's come on out of this one. Hands can gently support our low back, tuck your tailbone to lengthen the back of your spine here. Give yourself a nice inhale and exhale. Now from here, let's come on up to stand. You can shake this one out a little bit. Shake out the arms and shake out the legs. Working with our chair for a balance pose. Let's try dancer pose. We'll come into Nadarajasana. So for dancer, right hand for your right foot. You can grab on the outside of your foot or grab on the inside of your foot. Left hand's gonna grab the top of your chair. Begin to press your foot into your hand and then begin to press your chair away from you. So really try to feel your foot kicking back and up. Feel very grounded here in your left foot. So we want to press through the inside and the outside. And then notice your body's natural tendency if you tend to roll in or tend to roll to the outside of your foot. Also find your drishti. Find that one spot to focus your concentration and to focus your awareness. Gently coming on out of that one. Right foot meets your left. Grounding nice and firm into your right foot. Left hand for left foot. Grab on the outside or the inside. Begin to kick the foot into the hand. Let's take it forward. And dancer pose brings us so many positive benefits. It's a wonderful stretch for your standing legs, so strengthening all of the muscles through the foot, through the ankle, and through the knee. We get this wonderful quad stretch, wonderful hip flexor and psoas stretch on the left side. You get this really nice back bend through the low back, mid back, and upper back. We get a nice shoulder stretch. We really open our heart space. And release. Let's float that foot down. We can take our feet a little wider than hips, bringing it into empty sleeve stretch. And as you come into stillness here, let's bring it down into seated. So as you come into seated, let's take those legs out far from one another. And if you need to, you can kind of walk those legs a little further from each other. You can inch them out a bit. You can pull that chair in. One option will be to fold forward and really let yourself relax and soften here. If you wanted the stretch to be a bit more active, grab onto your chair and press your chair away from you. You could try to relax your head down here. Take this opportunity to connect with your breath. Breathe into the stomach. Feel the navel rise on in-breath. Fall on out-breath. Feel the ribs expanding on the in-breath. Contracting on the out-breath. Chest rises on inhale. Chest falls on exhale. And knowing each time that you breathe, you bring life and oxygen to all of the cells throughout your body. And gently softening your chair down. Let's take our left arm onto our left leg. And we'll work ourselves into a side stretch here. Maybe roll that right shoulder back. Feel the collarbone shining up towards the sky. Core engages, bringing yourself back to center. Right hand lowers, left arm rises up and over. Breathe into that stretch for your waist, into the side of your body. Core engages. Let's float ourselves back to center. Coming into that stretch one last time. So really press that chair away from you. Give yourself that nice lengthening. Let the chair guide you a little deeper into the stretch. Coming on up. Chair can float right out in front, maybe sending that to the bottom of your yoga mat or right off the end there. Knees will come together. Legs float out in front. Give the legs a bit of a shake out here. Knees will begin to come into the chest. Arms, hands around knees or shins. And gentle rock to the right and the left here. So we'll just do a really nice release here on the low back. And then maybe as you're rocking side to side, feeling this nice gentle massage along your low back from the mat. Knees to the right. Let's float into a spinal twist here. Relax your left shoulder down on the mat. Gaze off your left shoulder. Let your eyes close. Allow for your mind to be clear of thoughts. We always have thoughts moving through the mind, maybe thoughts for the past, thoughts for the future. Try to release the thoughts. Bring the awareness to the breath. Bring the awareness to the present moment. And then remembering the present moment, the only moment where life truly exists. Back to center. Knees to the chest, hug them in. Releasing off towards the left. Gaze off the right shoulder. Let your eyes close. And our spinal twists are so beneficial for the body. So as we're twisting here, we get this wonderful stretch into the waist and the side body. A nice release for the IT band. And then in the midsection, we have so many organs and we have our digestive system. And in everyday life, we don't always create a lot of twisting movements. So in yoga, it's always really nice to do our twists so that the internal organs can get a bit of a massage. When we release the twist, fresh blood and oxygen can freely flow through the whole entire body. It's almost like giving a little massage to the internal organs and the digestive system. Back through the center. Let's bring our knees to our chest. Taking one hand to one knee, one hand to the other knee. Begin to take your knees away from one another. So knees are going to come out nice and wide, and then we'll sweep our knees in towards one another. Float those knees out to the sides of the room, giving a nice hip stretch. Reset to center. And let's go a few more times in this direction. Flow in the other direction when you're ready. Reverse. It's always important if we move in one way to go the other way so that our muscles can stay balanced and aligned. So the flexibility in the body can be even. And coming into some relaxation time here, we'll move into Shavasana. So if you'd like to use your chair for this one, you can do that. Okay, we can just take our chair at the bottom of the yoga mat. Begin to link your legs right up onto that seat. And you may want to scoot yourself in a tad. And just as we begin, allow for a gentle tuck of your tailbone. So you're just going to lift your hips up. You're going to tuck your tailbone. So that kind of means lifting your hips up and scooping your navel in towards your spine a little bit. And then you can just relax your spine. So that will just help you to create a bit more length here. Take any rounding of the low back out. Feel your palms face up. So moving into a gentle rotation in your shoulders. Invite a little tuck of your chin as well. That might help you to ground in your neck slightly against the mat. A little tuck and then releasing it. If you wanted, your palms can face up along your body. And if you wanted to connect with your body, you could also take your hands on your body. So one to your navel and one to your ribs, maybe, or your heart. And then just letting your eyes soften. Letting your breath soften as well. Allowing yourself to drift deeper and deeper into a state of relaxation. a moment to wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Notice how you feel. Observe your mind, your body in the moment. Feel your mind relax, calm at ease. Feel your body aligned and balanced. Tension that you may have come to class with, feel how that has released with yoga and with meditation. Bringing yourself onto your side, we'll roll into a fetal position for a moment. Create a pillow with your lower arm. Gently support your head. Feel your body taking the shape of the pose. Making your way into seated. As you come into seated position, hands can come to the heart space in prayer in Anjali Mudra. Ending practice with gratitude. Thinking of something in your life that you are truly grateful for. The light within me honors the light within you. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you for joining today. I hope that you're feeling more relaxed, more at ease. Have a fantastic day today, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.